Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I made this amber effect cake completely decorated with fondant shells and sugar crystals. First, let's make the sugar crystals. Dip the sticks in water and coat them with sugar granules. Here I am using plastic lollipop sticks. I did the same with paper lollipop sticks and wooden dowels. Just wet the sticks in plain water and then dip them in sugar. I found that the sugar stuck and also grew the best on the wooden sticks. I used the remaining sugar in making the thick syrup. The ratio I used here was 3.5 cups of sugar to 1 cup of water. Bring the water to a boil and then gradually add in the sugar. Once all the sugar has completely melted, I let it cool for 5 minutes. Then pour it in narrow glasses like mason jars, disposable glasses or narrow tall mugs. I added a few drops of gel color to form the blue shade. At this stage you can also add in any flavor of your choice like vanilla, lemon, almond, etc. For the lighter shade, I added 1 drop of gel color, and for the darker shade, I added 2 drops of gel color. Now take the sugar dipped sticks, put it on some cloth pegs and go ahead dip it in the thick syrup, leaving a small gap at the bottom. Cover these glasses and leave them undisturbed for a few days. Here are a few shots of how the sugar grew over a few days. I have to say this is a lengthy process and it took me 10 days to have a grown sugar crystal stick. But as you see, the crystals are so gorgeous and shiny. It was worth the wait. You have to let the excess sugar syrup drip and dry before use. Here I have separated a few dried crystals for decorating the cake. For the shells, I used yellow and blue fondant and 2 different silicone molds. Dust corn flour in the cavity and press a small piece of fondant. To avoid sticking, either dust corn flour over it or you can even use a plastic sheet as I did here. Due to the climate, if you feel that the fondant is sticking inside the mold, then you can pop the mold inside the freezer and chill it for a couple of minutes. Next, I took some gold luster dust and mixed a couple of drops of rose water. I used this to color the yellow shells and this instantly turned it into golden shells. After having all the decorations ready, I started preparing the cakes. I have a complete video on how to prep your cakes for decorations, so I will just speed up the process here. I used 4 layers of my chocolate cake in each tier. You will find the recipe to this chocolate cake and the chocolate frosting on my channel. I use simple syrup to shower on each layer of cake. Even though the cakes are quite moist on its own, the sugar syrup retains this moisture throughout the process of decoration. As this cake is quite moist and it is not chilled, I am crumb coating each layer before building up. I usually chill my cakes as they are easy to handle. After keeping each layer, press it down slightly so that it removes any air bubbles. After the cake is crumb coated completely, put it in the freezer and let it firm up. After firming up, I transferred the cake on a cake board and gave a thick layer of frosting to it. icing the cake, I let it chill in the fridge until I get the fondant ready. For the amber effect or the marbling technique, you can take different colors or different shades of a color. Here I have taken different shades of brown color. Just knead it together so that it gets warm and is easy to roll. As you continue rolling, the colors blend beautifully and it gives a different look each time you roll them. As you continue rolling, you will notice that one side looks better than the other side. On this side, the colors have blended beautifully, so I chose to cover the cake with it. In this video, you will also get to see how I cover my cakes in this half and half method. Covering a two-toned cake is actually very easy. Determine a center and wet one side of the cake. Place the fondant on the cake and make sure it sticks to the wet side. Now from the sides, pull the fondant towards yourself without worrying much, because in this two-tone method, the creases won't trouble a lot. Smooth the fondant and cut the excess. Look for your center and cut a clean line off. You can either bend or sit at the cake level, or even use a scale to guide you so that you get a straight line. Now let's cover the opposite part of the cake. Here I chose to use the blue shades. Roll it out and choose a prettier side. Just like before, simply wet only the part of the cake which needs to be covered. Once the fondant is on there, smooth it out and find the center. It's easy to know where to stop as you can feel the other side underneath. Cut off the excess and smooth as you go. Now that all my 3 cakes are covered, I will begin stacking them. I use bubble straws as a support for the next tier, spreading a spoonful of ganache to help the next tier stick. Repeated the same step for the second and third tier. After stacking them, I decorated the cake with fondant shells and sugar crystals. You can put as much as or as little as you like. I lightly brushed the cake with water, which helped the shells to stick on the cake. You can arrange them in whichever pattern you like. I chose to go simple with this arrangement. Then I dabbed gold luster on it to highlight everything. I continued using the shells, the crystals and the gold on the sides and on the top. Here is the full look of the cake. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you try any of these methods and also what other methods you would like me to make. Until then, see ya!